Hey y'all, it is May the 8th, 2018. There's Bella. Y'all, I want to have a talk with y'all. The other day, I'm sure some people probably know they seen it and were like, what is this? The other day, I tried to do a live stream. I think it was Friday night, something like that. I tried to do a live stream. It went terribly wrong. Alright? And I think I explained myself in the next video, but I want to further explain myself in that I wasn't feeling it. Like, I wasn't feeling the vibe. Sometimes I don't. I'll cut off the camera and I'll just feel like, you know what, forget this. But at that point, I was already live streaming. So it's just like, gotta get out. And that's what happened. Basically, that's what happened. I mean, to be even more specific, I just got kind of overwhelmed a little bit. You probably seen me talk about many different topics all at the same time and stuff like I do. Sometimes I'm scatterbrained, alright? But I got a little bit overwhelmed. I was like, man, I was thinking about Kanye. I was about to start talking about Kanye. People won't stop talking about Kanye. They just won't. Thing is, I was going to talk about Kanye and I couldn't bring myself to do it. I started doing it and I was just like, because I had talked to so many people about Kanye even before the broadcast, and at that point I just talked myself all out about Kanye, and it was all sort of other things that I wanted to bring up, but it's just like, oh man, at that point I was just like, dude, I didn't even want to talk. Cut off this live stream. And I cut it off, and I did. And it's kind of embarrassing, man. I should be able to keep it going, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it. Thing is, I say that to say this. Sometimes you got, if you get overwhelmed, and you know what I'm talking about, sometimes you just gotta stand back, get back, and just go, let it go. Let it come in, because you're not gonna be able to catch all of it anyways, man. You're gonna miss some of it. Just let it come in. Alright? Sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes when stuff gets too complicated, that is the trouble with human beings. The complicated nature of them. If we were just to keep it simple, we'd be a lot more happy. Note that when I start to keep things simple. Thing is, at the very same time, I want to say that, no matter the story, and there's been plenty of stories shared on this channel, no matter the story, whether it be Caitlin Nicole, whether it be Nicholas Cruz, whether it be this new story that I'm bringing up, Eileen Warnos. I brought up so many stories, even in just passing and stuff, a lot of them. No matter what, from what I'm seeing, from the evidence I've seen, you could tell any one of those stories. Just get one story and tell it and find out the information, all the evidence and stuff, and tell that story, dude. If you just told one of these stories, you wouldn't have to tell any of the other stories. It wouldn't even be necessary, because everything would be gathered out of each and every one of these stories. Everything that you could ever possibly need can be gathered from it. It's simply you pay it that kind of attention, that kind of mind. You'll know that with news channels most of the time, that ain't the case. Most of the time it ain't the case. If it's on television, it's lying to you. If it's on the internet, you might want to be skeptical about it. All right. Not only that, but you might want to note that lots of times they won't be able to follow one specific story to the bitter end. All right. And I'm not saying that's what we're going to do here necessarily, but I do want to emphasize that if you just find out all the details, all you have to do is dive into one story, just one, and really start pondering to yourself, and you're going to see all the dominoes, the whole house of cards. It's going to fall. Irregardless, you pull on one little string, irregardless, you're going to come back to a sweater. All right, and that sweater is going to unravel, period. The end of the story. All right, so one of the newest stories that we're talking about here on this channel, and it's a series of stories going to be detailing the statements of people who are on death row or were on death row and have died. This particular story that we're going to dive into, I made a video about it, and that's what was posted on before this video. It's called It Begins or something like that. Eileen Warnos. Right there in that video, I'm detailing, or I'm pretty much just typing out and posting every word that she was saying in her statement. Now, it's only half the statement, right? Just so you know, in the clip that I put, if you haven't found out, that's basically only half the statement that she says. The other half is to come. All right, it's going to be the next video after this. Here's what I want you to do. All right, this is what I'm asking you to do. Concerning the first video that I made and the second video and every video after it. I'm not asking you or telling you that you should believe Eileen Warnos. I don't know that you should believe Eileen Warnos. Right? I'm not saying what she's saying is definitely what happened, for sure. I don't know. I want to dive further into it, but here's what I'm asking you to do. If you can do it, a lot of people can't. I want you to look at that video clip, the next one I play. I want you to look at it. I want you to listen to it in the realm of skepticism. I want you to be skeptical about it. Right? A lot of people don't know what the word means. A lot of people would think being skeptical about that statement that I put in front of you would be to call her a crazy lady, say she's she's bad, she's a bad crazy lady, send her to her death, shut her the hell up. And that's what's being a skeptic to some people. But I don't mean that. What I mean is I want you to be skeptical about what she's saying. May it be a total lie? Maybe. But in the spirit of being skeptical, I want you to look at the words that she's saying and ask yourself, is what she's saying even plausible? Is it even plausible that what she's saying makes sense? Like, for example, Eileen Warnos, I mean, it's a very well-known story, basically, or a widely known story. Not a lot of people know it very much, but they know of it. Eileen Warnos, for example, went around killing people, about 7 people. All right? She in a statement that was made on the video that I already posted, she was not good at murdering. She's not a professional murderer. Most people ain't good at it, just so that you know. And the reason for that is most murders take place, most of them, not all of them, but most of them take place with anger, rage, emotion. All right? That's what it takes, is a certain amount of anger and rage and emotion. When that takes place and a killing is happening, common sense goes out the window. And this applies to most people in the world. First of all, everybody's a killer, and that's part of the point of what we're going to dive more and more into. But the thing is, once they get into a murderous rage or just convince themselves that murder is the answer, common sense goes out the window. This is how they usually get caught. For the most part, it's not hard. When it comes to Eileen Warnos, according to her own statements, right before her own death, it wasn't hard to catch her. Right? She didn't make it hard. So you gotta ask yourself, is it plausible? Is it even plausible what she's saying? That the cops should have gotten her off the first murder, but didn't? Let her go on and keep doing it? Is that even possible? Sonic pressure, is that even a technology that's existed? I'm here to tell you it has existed. You don't have to believe me or anything like that, but it's well known that technology has existed. I can't say it existed back in 97, but I bet you that it was existing in 97. All right? So is any of what she says plausible? Would there be a motive to it? Does it make sense at all? I'm not saying what she's saying is the truth. I'm saying that it could very well be the truth. Is it plausible? It's a question I'm asking you. And I believe that if you dwell upon that question long enough, you may or may not begin to not only recognize it as plausible, but more likely than the original story, and definitely more likely than the Hollywood just absolute gibberish that was put out. All right? I think you're going to find out a lot of things, and that's why we're going to go down this journey. At the same time, got to remember a couple things. Sometimes you got to keep it simple. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it's talking about Kanye too much. And you got to step back. You got to take a breath and maybe stop talking. All right, but I also want to remind you that this is a long, crazy journey. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out a whole mess. And basically, it was just a gut feeling. Basically, it was just understanding that everybody has a motive. Everything has a motive. Technology exists. People are in power. All right, things aren't making sense on the surface. All right, and we're the investigators of today. There ain't no other ones. It's May the 8th, y'all. Y'all the ones. Y'all the detectives out there. I believe in you. 2018, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.